Hello, hi there, Scorpios. I'm literally, as I'm doing all of my 12 horoscopes, I'm just being guided by all my guides which one to do next. And they're doing these readings in very interesting ways. Now, so far, they've been using nursery rhymes, but with you guys, they're not using nursery rhymes, but they're using a fable. I believe it's a fable instead. So yours is the Emperor's New Clothes. That's the theme they want to run your love life in April on. And we're going to get to it just in a moment. So if you're watching me for the first time, I'm a psychic reader. I'm not a tarot reader. If you'd like to know more about me and my services, the links are just down below. I don't like to waste time also, but basically I interpret information from spirit to give you a general overview and some guidance so that you can navigate your love life in April successfully. So the story, if you don't know the story of the Emperor's New Clothes, I'll break it down like this. It's basically about a king who's very, very self-obsessed, very entitled. Everybody panders to him, tells him he looks fabulous when he's not, agrees to all his stupid ideas. He gets really flamboyant. He wants the best of everything. And then one day, because they can't give him any more because he's got everything he wants, they say, oh, look, Emperor, we've got this shiny new, beautiful material, but it's invisible. But everybody's wearing it and you'll be the first to have it. And they basically tell him that this invisible material will make him, fabulous. And because he's so entitled and so egotistical and, up his own, what, he falls for it because that's who he is. He wants the best of everything. And they pretend to make him this fine costume out of this invisible material for this parade. And so he goes on this parade eventually. Cut a long story short, he goes onto this parade with his new suit, and of course he's naked. He's exposed, and he's walking through the townspeople, waving at everybody like, look at me, I'm the king. And they're all laughing. They're laughing at him and his nakedness and his bits. And he suddenly realizes that he's been a fool. And the whole moral behind that story, if I remember it correctly, is about being humbled in out of being made ridiculous. And there is something basically about this story and why they're bringing it up as to what is happening to you in this month, Scorpio. So either somebody, that I need to interpret this correctly because it's general, but it's basically saying here one or two things. That either somebody has made you to be ridiculous, or you are dealing with somebody slightly egotistical, maybe narcissistic, who has flipped things around onto you and has made you feel vulnerable, embarrassed and humiliated. So if this, because the thing is this could be you or the other person, but that what I am getting that is concrete is that you seem to feel like you're the one that's a victim out of all of this. So you're either the victim, Scorpio, because you're not seeing the end of your nose and you're being the emperor, which then needs to change because perhaps your love life is not working out because of that vibration, not a cool one, and not seeing further or not seeing more or feelings of entitlement, all that kind of stuff. The universe is asking you to take a look at that because that's why you're in a vulnerable situation. But what I mostly suspect, so I think that if that applies to any Scorpio, it would probably be few and far between, but I suspect that you are dealing with somebody who is arrogant, entitled, difficult to be with. If you're single, you may meet this person and certainly run because I want you to avoid the humiliation aspect. But it feels like in this month, you are being asked to watch out about trusting what they tell you. So if they start trying to sell you something or tell you something that you're just like, that can't be real. Just like the Emperor's, this invisible cloth. If this person's trying to convince you that some version of an invisible cloth exists, that you are being asked to trust your instincts and not believe them, or find yourself naked, not literally, but in a vulnerable situation where you are exposed or humiliated by others. They're saying don't do that to yourself. If something doesn't look like a horse, then it's not a horse. If something doesn't feel right, then it is not right. I always say to people, if something doesn't make sense, then something is not true. So in this month, they're saying be careful. Whether this is someone you're newly dating, married to, don't care. There's somebody in your love life trying to, who's got such a self-importance that they're trying to convince you otherwise. Or, like I said, Scorpio, maybe this is you. And maybe you're not succeeding. Or maybe you've done something where the universe wants you to realise you've humiliated the other person because of not being entirely truthful or being egotistical. They say that with love, if that's you, to have a moment of growth and self-reflection. Whatever way this is working out for you, dear Scorpios, they are saying greatly to trust yourself, because it feels like no matter whether you're the doer or the receiver, there is an internal voice, your own higher self, saying, listen to me, that's not right, don't fall for it. Or listen, that's not right, don't try to trick people. There's consequences to it. They're saying don't do it. But do know this, Scorpio, if you do it or do fall for it, there is humiliation being shown. And so this whole reading, and that's why I do these readings on YouTube, is to help you navigate challenges or to avoid them. This one is about avoiding that humiliation. Just imagine what it would feel like to walk naked in a parade full of people thinking that you're wearing clothes when you're not. That's pretty humiliating, isn't it? Whatever the equivalent is in your life would feel just like that. But if you listen, if the emperor had listened to his sense of self when they were trying to show him this material, yes, got you feel it, and he's like, oh yes, well, you couldn't really. If he'd listened to himself and said, no, I really can't see it. It's a bit like, you know, when you see those programs where the man's been caught cheating, but you know, the woman could be in the room, and he's like, no, I'm not cheating, and he'll just say it, but the obvious is true. There's something obvious. If you fall for it, even though you know something's wrong, then the Scorpio, only yourself to blame. This is a warning in this month to just take heed. If you can do that, or if you are, again, like I said, the one perpetrating it, change it, because you'll lose out. And the universe loves you, doesn't want you to lose out, doesn't want you to be humiliated. And this is why this is coming out. Use your sense, your common sense. Use your heart, they say, and all will be well. Deep one, guys. Do let me know how it comes out. Anyway, I'll be back again next month to find out your next chapter of what happened. I hope you join me there. Do like, do comment, do share, do subscribe. I do love to hear from you all. Take care, everybody.